Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning into the Holistic A-Hole podcast. Woo! Almost just lost the whole recording system there. My name is Eric Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole, the mommy blogger with balls, the inconvenient truth of health. Welcome back to another exciting episode here of the podcast, where today we're going to talk about how I don't give a shit about your crying on social media. Yeah. We're coming in real hot today. It's a Saturday. Yeah, you might be out there, out in the streets, drinking on a sidewalk. You might be smoking a little weed. You might be just cleaning the house or, taking the kids to the park or just enjoying a nice fall day, raking some leaves, cleaning the gutters, whatever you're doing. I'm not here to ruin that. What I'm here is to get you amped up. Yeah, get you all amped up and fired up about these little whiny crybabies on social media looking for your sympathy, just trying to suck the life out of you to make you feel bad for them because they can't manage their own goddamn life. So this is going to be a fun one. But before I get into all that, I want to say what's up? What's up? If it's your first time here, I don't know how you made it here, but you somehow did. And since you've done all the work, celebrate by subscribing to the podcast. It's so easy to do. Just hit the subscribe button right there in your podcast player, whether it's on your phone, your computer, your iPad, your watch, whatever it is. Hit the subscribe button. That way you get notified every time the podcast comes out. And if you love the podcast, who doesn't? Make sure, A, you share it with the people you love because this is very important information. And if you love them, you want to make sure they get this information. And B, go on over to iTunes, or you can do it right there in Apple Podcasts. Leave the podcast a 5-star review. You can do it right from your phone, sitting there in your car in traffic, on the subway, in your porch, patio, lawn chair, whatever you're doing, just go leave the podcast a 5-star review. It helps me so much. And if you're enjoying the podcast, this is really the best way to show your love right back at me. And also, go on to Facebook, join the Holistic A-Holes Facebook group, because that's where the tribe is really building some force and momentum. Okay, so why do I want to have this podcast today? I was inspired because, I was bored and procrastinating, and I went on to the devil's butthole layer, Facebook, and saw a friend's status. And let me just put it out there. I've been way less active on social media in the last couple months. A buddy turned me on to this website blocking software, and I put it in, and now I just have no way to get on Facebook for more than 10 minutes a day. And it's actually been quite therapeutic. I highly recommend it. Unless, of course, you're trying to get into the Holistic A-Holes Facebook group, then make sure you're on the site as much as possible in that specific group. But really, Facebook, it's just a circle jerk now. It's just a cesspool. It's like everything's polarized. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It's like you could be right, left, middle, whatever. There's just nothing but polarization going on, and everybody just, slapping everybody on the back, confirmation bias aplenty. It's just disgusting. There's no real conversation going on there in Facebook. And Facebook, by the way, same with Twitter, same with Instagram, all these social mediums, it's not representative at all of what's really happening out in the world. It's just really fucking with people's brains, is how I feel, and people's well-being. But this post that I saw somebody post, because I was just on there procrastinating, that's the only time I go on there, scrolling mindlessly, and I saw a friend of mine post this thing that really bothered me, and had nothing to do with Trump or anti-Trump or pro-Trump or, food related. It was, I can't give you the exact quote because was on Facebook for 10 minutes and now I can't get back on. But it was something along the lines of while some people are out having a great day, I'm stuck in bed with depression and I can't get out of bed. And I just think that my life isn't going to go anywhere and I'm dying. And that's how they ended it. The other stuff was probably about 70 to 80% accurate of what they wrote. Again, I can't see the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of, I'm depressed, I'm stuck in bed, I can't get up, I don't have the energy, but 100% what they wrote at the end was, I'm dying. And this post genuinely bothers me because I know what they're doing, and I see this all over social media, which is people going in to basically suck empathy and sympathy out of their social media following because they're victims of their own making. And it bothers me as the holistic a-hole because all I do on this podcast and in my life is just try to give so much information as to how to not end up like that. You know, whether it's diet, meditation, mindfulness, having just a positive freaking attitude, which I don't think is like the end all be all, but it's a nice touch, right? But I mean, 100% diet, hydration, lifestyle, mindfulness, meditation, movement, yoga, strength training, all these things play into your overall mindful well-being. And what's happening is there's a lot of people who are jumping on that train, who are jumping on this holistic train, which is probably why this podcast is getting so many more listeners, just because I think people are just going into iTunes. This might be how you, listener, have found this podcast, and you just typed in holistic thinking you were going to bring up like the Wellness Mama or, one of these holistic, mindful, like soft music, soft person voice, almost like ASMR, like I gotta talk so soft and gently because this is the only way that you're supposed to talk when you are grounded and have oneness and you can see you've opened your third eye and you meditate for 4 hours a day and you just want to project love into the world. And then you got this a-hole and you're like, well, this a-hole's better than those a-holes. And that's how you got here, right? So I know the holistic movement is increasing, as well it should. But then there's this complete other side of people who refuse to embrace this stuff. You can tell them this stuff till you're blue in the face. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they just want to be stuck in their misery. They want to be stuck in their self-loathing. They want to victimize themselves because what it does is it basically drags those people around them down so that they're not feeling alone in their own misery. Misery loves company. I never understood that until I became an adult. And now I see it all around me. And it's like I saw it so much in the comedy community. People want to, project comedians like they're fun and they just got nothing but jokes and everything's funny. And no, they're some of the most depressed, self-loathing people on the planet. They're some of the biggest fucking babies that you're going to find. And this is because what they do is they project their misery onto people. And I'm not talking about on stage. The real good comedians know how to take this depression, anxiety, these mental issues. They know how to make it funny. But then some are just on stage because they need people to look at them. They need people, and it's not even on stage. A lot of it's off stage, where it's just, how's your day? Oh, God, it's just, everything's a nightmare. My life's falling apart. Your life's always falling apart. How is it the person who says that somehow their life is always falling apart? Your life has just been steadily falling apart for years. At this point, I don't know if you notice, it's completely crumbled into nothing because you did that. Look at people who have turned their lives around. They're the most inspiring people you're going to find because they know that struggle. I think we all know that struggle at this point. I think we all understand the struggle of not getting the thing you want, of feeling alone, of feeling like you're worthless, of just being physically adrenal fatigued to the point where you can't even get out of bed. I think we've all been there. And the only way that you can get through that, and the people who have done this can attest, is you have to do it yourself. People can't do it for you. This is 2018. There is more than enough information online that can literally change your life, and it's all free, to make it so that you can get out of bed and you can thrive, right? We're not just talking about feeling well. We're talking about fucking thriving in the world. And I'm sorry, I just don't have time in my life for people who can't help themselves. If you can't show love to yourself, then nobody's going to show love to you. You're not alone. Nobody's alone. No, even the most, self-conscious sociopath is not alone, right? Everybody has somebody, whether it's a friend, you have neighbors, you have parents, you have family. Even if you don't have anybody, you will always be able to find something. Just go on the street and just start talking to people. You can do that. You can go to random restaurants and you could just stand in line and you could be that guy who just talks to people. And sometimes people will talk back, and sometimes people will look at you like you're crazy. And you know what? If they look at you like you're crazy, to me, I get energy from that. Because I know I'm doing something interesting. I know I'm being an interesting person. I'm not being boring. I'm not just going with the flow. I'm taking control of my life, and I'm trying to influence. I'm trying to be artistic. I'm trying to be, interesting. I'm trying to be exciting. This is what life should be. We all have this life force in us, and some of us, for whatever reason, have just dug it down deep. Now, I also understand that people have been through a lot of trauma. Some people are just experiencing just trauma, and they relive it every day, whether it is actual real trauma in your life where maybe you lost a loved one, you lost a family member, maybe you've gone through some horrific illness that's just completely wiped out your energy, but still, you have to live in this moment, You have to live in this moment. This isn't me preaching, this is me just saying the obvious information. You have to just live in this. If you're not living in this moment, if you're living in yesterday or tomorrow, you're not living. You're just reliving, you're panicking and you're driving your central nervous system crazy. You're in sympathetic mindset. You're not digesting food right, and this is all health related. You got to clean up your gut. You got to clear that fucking, that tubing out. Get all the shit out of you, because the shit that you've eaten through your life, whether it was just garbage carbs or McDonald's or fried food or, ice cream or candy, all that shit, it's inside you and it's putrefying and it's it's becoming toxic material that's just, poisoning your blood and your bones and your endocrine system and your limbic system. You're not detoxifying this shit out of you. We talked in the last episode about actually physically how to detoxify toxins out of your body, how to get that crap out of you, You got to love your gut. You got to love your liver. You got to love your adrenal glands. You got to get freaking sleep, dude. Even if you have sleep problems, you can get over that shit, You can figure out different ways to sleep, sometimes sleep is totally dictated by diet, by a bad circadian rhythm. You can reset your circadian rhythm. You can do everything in your power to get through this, to get to the other side. I know it's corny, but read self-help books. Read Tony Robbins, Read, what is the guy's name? Dr. John DeMartini. That's the dude who pulled me out of my funk, That dude doesn't give a fuck, right? And consequently, he's a freaking millionaire because he knows the exact things to say to get people motivated, to pull them out of their funk. Call him a snake oil salesman. I don't know. The shit he says works. The shit Tony Robbins says works. The shit that, you can just go on YouTube, see some asshole who's just like, wake up and own the day. It fucking works. If you're like, how do I do this? Well, start your day off right. Own the first 10 minutes of your day. Get up, go suck down fresh, clean, filtered water. Squeeze a little lemon in there. Get some antioxidants. Get some vitamin C, right? Take a huge dump. Take a huge shit first thing in the day. Oh my God, it's going to feel goddamn amazing. Then go sit on the floor. Close your eyes. Look at the back of your eyelids and nothing else. Think about nothing else for 5 minutes. Just do it for 5 minutes, right? If you can do all that in 10 minutes, you will own that goddamn day. You will completely forget about your depression. You'll completely forget about your self-loathing because you won't have any reason to. You have nothing to be mad about. You know why? Because you're going to program your parasympathetic nervous system to start working. Okay, you're going to start digesting food. It's going to get through you. All of that crap that's been sitting in your gut lining, in your large intestine, in your colon, causing all of these toxic chemicals will start to move their way out. You'll start making butyrate, right? That's the miracle fucking short chain fatty acid that gets made in your colon when you feed your good gut bacteria things like resistant starch, right? Green bananas, green papayas. Put that shit in a smoothie. Throw in some fucking banana. Throw in some kale. Throw in some dandelion greens. Throw in some good fucking seeds, right? Eat some goddamn fat. Eat some fat. Eat some butter. Eat some coconut oil, right? Just treat your body with love. And you won't feel like this. You won't. Okay? Because the people who are telling you, oh, it's going to be all right. Oh, it's going to be okay. They don't love you. They don't. They're just saying that because they know that's what you want to hear. And what you're doing is you're leeching people's energy. You are literally leeching energy and positivity out of people. It's fucking draining. I've had friends like this for a lot of my adult life who just drain you of your own life force. And at some point, if you are a real friend, you cut that motherfucker loose. You cut him loose. You go, look, man, you have to figure this shit out on your own. I've done everything I could. I have shown you so much goddamn support. I've shown you so much fucking love. And all you do is spit in my face by not getting your shit together. So you know what? Peace. Daddy or mommy has to go fucking make a living. I gotta fucking meet my potential. I gotta fucking thrive. I can't have you leeching off me, telling me you want to kill yourself or you want to do this. I don't believe it. I don't believe any of the shit you say. You're just miserable. You're just sad. You're just being a fucking whiny little bitch. I'm sorry. That's what you're doing. Get over it. No matter what your problem is, you are still alive. You still have life force. You still have your fucking heart. You still have your brain. You still have all of your limbs working. You just can't get over this mental hurdle. Well, guess what? Only you can do that, right? Look at a fucking veteran who got his legs blown off, fighting a war that he didn't want to fight, but he needed to get to college because his parents couldn't afford it, each working 2 jobs themselves. So he went to the goddamn military, tried to do something good for himself, for his family, for his country, got his fucking legs blown off. Now the goddamn U.S. government doesn't want to give him the money that they promised they would give him. They don't want to give him the housing. They don't want to give him the health care. They want him to relive that IED or whatever it was that blew his fucking legs off over and over and over again because they won't let him have the medical marijuana that is the only thing that helps him get through his day. So instead he has to get strung out on oxycodone. He beat that shit. And now he's just a fucking person. And he's still more positive than you. Living off of the fucking, the bounties of commerce. To kind of sort of quote Weston A. Price. The foods of commerce. There's no, you're not dying. You're not suffering. You're not homeless. You have every single one of your needs meet. So get over yourself, man. Ugh, I hate being pissed off on this podcast because I genuinely love doing this podcast and I love all you a-holes. But seriously, man, like if this is a person that I'm describing, get rid of them. You're better than that. If you've tried to help this person, just let them go. If you have people on your social media who do this shit, who try to leech off of strangers, and you see them getting, 100 likes, 200 likes, little hearts and sad faces and all, get rid of them. Drop them as friends. They're leeching your life force. You need that. You need that to make a difference, okay? You've tried to give your love to one person. They've shunned it off. Well, you don't need them. Because if you've given the love, well, take that love that you're trying to give them and put that out to 100 people. Put that out to 200 people. People who actually want it. People who actually deserve it. Fuck it. Put it back in your own heart. Love your goddamn self. And fucking thrive. You know what I'm talking about. You guys are the goddamn a-holes. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, again, please go on to iTunes or Apple Podcasts. You can do it right there on your phone. Leave a 5-star review. Share this with somebody that you love, that appreciates your love. And make sure, if you haven't done this already, go back through and binge through all the Holistic A-Hole podcasts. There's over 100 of them to check out. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.